Hello, I'm Phil Mullen, energy psychotherapist. I'm going to talk about the parallel self, a concept I've been working with for a number of years. I first gave a presentation on this topic at the conference of the Association for Comprehensive Energy Psychology in 2015, the ACEP conference. I'm going to make 12 basic points. First, what I have to say is set in the context of energy psychology, which is the study of the deeper patterns in the subtle energy systems as they interface with the mind, and the therapeutic and healing implications and applications of these. The parallel self concept comes from a very esoteric branch of that field that I call Blue Diamond Healing. If you're not familiar with these fields, it is unlikely to make much sense to you at all. I'm talking about subtle energies of both structure and flow. There are energies of structure and energies of flow. The information comes partly from systematic energy testing and from the results when working hypotheses of this kind are pursued. Second point, twinned opposites or twinned reciprocating phenomena occurring in different realms are a fundamental fractal, a repeating pattern that occurs at many different levels and contexts. We might think of the opposite genders, the two brain hemispheres, matter and antimatter, particles and waves, black holes and white holes. The white holes, like the stars, the sun, are beaming out energy. The black holes are sucking it in. They're like cosmic waste disposal units. But perhaps the black holes give birth to white holes on the other side in a parallel realm. Third, here's the speculative hypothesis, the working hypothesis, which does seem useful. When we incarnate, we begin as a unity, which then splits down two paths, one into our present physical matter atom-based realm, the other into the parallel etheric realm, akin to antimatter. These are twin selves, our inherent bipolar structure, two structurally connected aspects of self, like quantum entangled photons. And the Merkabas, the spinning fields of these two aspects of self, spin in opposite directions. In the present or physical realm, the top Merkaba is spinning clockwise, the lower one is spinning counterclockwise. In the parallel realm, the top Merkaba is spinning counterclockwise and the lower is spinning clockwise. Structurally, the parallel self is at a 90-degree angle of rotational spin to the physical. So my internal structural parallel self would be at right angles to me here. The present or physical self is what is in view here. The parallel self is invisible, like in shadow, although it's not the same as the Jungian shadow self. It's like dark matter that cannot be seen, but only detected by its effects. On very, very rare occasions, a being from the parallel realm may incarnate into the physical world. Such a person then exists within a realm that will tend to be toxic for them, and their energy system may function in unusual ways. Fourth point. Usually, the parallel self codes as an opposite gender to that of the physical realm. But when the person's inner sense of their gender is at odds with the biological body, the parallel self will code as opposite to the true felt gender. Fifth point. The etheric parallel realm provides the subtle energy template for the present matter-based realm, the morphogenetic field, if you like. Now, there is a related recent hypothesis from astrophysics that the matter-based cosmos is organized on subtle templates of filaments of invisible dark matter, forming a kind of invisible web across the cosmos onto which matter accretes and organizes. Now, here's a point that's crucial to our energy psychology work. The acupoint meridians appear to be from the parallel realm. Just keep that in mind. Sixth point. Both present and parallel selves are needed for optimum functions, just as the two brain hemispheres are both needed to function in a correct way in relation to each other. It's a matter of balance, harmony, and phasing. They alternately flash on and off, but very, very quickly. And it's rather analogous to a petrol car engine with its valves and pistons alternating in the same space. And if one of those is damaged or troubled, the function of the other is impaired. Seventh point. Between the two, between the present and parallel self, is a still point of peace and potential ascension to a higher realm. Eighth point. Because of the opposite spins of the two realms, when troubling states are brought to that still point between the present and parallel selves, the troubled states dissolve in a matter analogous to an encounter between matter and antimatter, with a release of energy. This seems to be partly how acupoint tapping works in energy psychology. The troubling thought is activated, then we tap on the meridians, which come from the parallel realm. Thereby, we're bringing the thought field to that point between where the perturbations collapse. This may also be why people tend to feel lightheaded after energy psychology work, because we brought in so much etheric energy from the parallel realm. We can also send the troubling thought fields and traumas to the still point between the parallel worlds on the silver pathway. This is a procedure I used to use a lot. To do this, you'd simply go into the blue diamond position, focus on this blue diamond point under the collarbones, put the problem into the blue diamond, and then with an exhalation of the breath, send a copy of the blue diamond up into the upper center of the brain. Then you place a miniature version of yourself, a miniature version of your consciousness in the blue diamond, in that upper center of your brain. And then you think of the silver pathway that goes out from the center of your brain outwards. And at a certain point, the silver pathway makes a sharp right angle, 90-degree turn. That's to the parallel. And so then you take rubbish sacks of whatever you want to be relieved of out along the silver pathway, deposit them at that sharp right angle turn where they dematerialize. Ninth point. Despite the way that the present and parallel self can work together helpfully, if the present and parallel selves are not optimally aligned and oriented in relation to each other at 90 degrees and not phasing optimally, they work against each other. There can be intrusions experienced as negative and frightening because they are reversed. The present self may have a goal or intention that is sabotaged by the parallel self because of the opposite spin. Now, it's not a motivated sabotage, but one inherent in the subtle energetic physics. It's analogous to the interference patterns that can either enhance or destroy an informational wave. Another analogy is with a mistimed internal combustion car engine, which, if it's mistimed, may be very inefficient, it's working against itself, or may even smash itself to pieces. There should be a natural partial repulsion zone, like a magnetic repulsion zone, between the present and parallel realms, acting as a kind of semi-permeable or alternating membrane or boundary. 10th point. In deeper energy psychology work, we can energy test the following. We can test whether the Merkabas are spinning optimally in both present and parallel realms in this being. We can test there is correct alignment between the present and parallel selves in this being. We can test there is correct phasing between the present and parallel selves in this being. We can test the parallel self needs healing, or is traumatized, or is angry. If we detect problems in any of these areas, they can be corrected in the blue diamond field. We can also tap acupoints with the intention that it is for the parallel self. We can also energy test whether the priority is to address the present or the parallel self. 11th point. Having addressed problems in the parallel self, as well as in the present self, we can invite the client to meet and embrace their inner parallel self, to see what image of that parallel self appears, and to invite the parallel self to an embrace, becoming internal friends, comrades. It is a profound cure for internal loneliness. Often, the search for an external figure, an external partner, is actually driven by that inner sense of disconnection from the parallel. So by reconnecting with the parallel self internally, that sense of inner loneliness, inner searching, profoundly dissipates. The 12th point. When the present and parallel selves come together in the still point, two things happen. First, there is an ascension to a higher unity. So there are the two present and parallel pathways, but they come together in this higher unipolar position. And when that happens, there is a release of higher dimensional energy. And in the blue diamond field, we can then work from this higher unity, guiding the client through the process of joining with their parallel self, then entering the higher unit as the two inner selves combine. And we can then request healing at that higher level. We can also, from that higher level, send positive messages down the two pathways. Working with the parallel self can be very beautiful, releasing enormous energies of love and joy. Thank you for watching this video on the parallel self, part of a series on Blue Diamond healing.